Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Be Blunt, a podcast about living and loving everything Blount County, Tennessee.
We're your hosts, Brett Hepner and Eric Rice, the property dads at LeConte Realty, and we're excited to talk more about this great place we call home. All right, here we are for another video episode of the Let's Be Blunt podcast, and this time we're getting back into, we've had lots of success with good nonprofits in Blount County, and I've known Tom for a little while, and I don't know why it's taken us this long to get you on, Tom, but Tom Garner with Harbour's Gate, welcome to Let's Be Blunt.
Well, thank you very much to both of you for inviting me on. I know I ran into you a few weeks ago at a chamber event, and I've asked you about it before, and you get a lot of demands, I know. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to share just a little bit, because we may be one of the nonprofits that very few have heard about or know about, just by the nature of what we've done. Even though we've been a 501c3 since 2012, I've been doing it nearly almost 20 years. And we quietly work, again, it's going to sound repetitive, we work directly in the neighborhoods, the front lines of Blount and some other counties where some of life's issues and hurts actually are ongoing. We live there, we reside there, we're neighbors there. And I'll go back into a brief bio of my history. Yes. I've been in Tennessee since I was 16 years old. I was born in Ohio. My father was a minister up in the Columbus area. And due to several circumstances, he had moved around as a minister. He used to work for NASA, but then he got into ministry. He ended up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I ended up having to leave my senior year of high school in Ohio and come down to Tennessee. That was quite a culture shock coming down here, because I'd been actually recognized as a potential all-state football player in Ohio. And even though I'm short in stature, I was a quarterback. And so when I came to Tennessee, I ended up getting involved there. Football did help, and stayed there till I graduated. And Gatlinburg was a different experience. We got out of school every day at 11 o'clock just to go take care of tourists. We ended up, somewhere at hotel swimming pool goofing off most of the day. But Gatlinburg was very laid back. But it was a good school. I did finally make it. There were some cultural adjustments. My mother was very sick at the time, so she had ongoing dementia, and just due to a kind of a falling apart of the family, I ended up on my own after my senior year. I'd received an appointment to the Coast Guard and the Naval Academy. I turned that down. I ended up getting a football scholarship to Capital University back up in Columbus, because I thought, I want to go home again. But like the old phrase is, you can never go home again. So I floundered around, ended up, there was a lot of trauma in my family, and I'm not going to get into all the details with that. There were a lot of things that went on in our family that I did not want to address. So I fell into the college lifestyle. I did start at that point, had picked up drinking and partying, even though I was making good grades. But after 1 year at Capital, I had an outreach from Lauren Kardatsky, the old football coach at Maryville College years ago. I mean, we're going way back in the days of, Joe Costner and all that stuff. Well, I wasn't quite ready yet. I did not know. I was still floundering with some emotions, and I was getting into it. I ended up in North Carolina, in Lenore, North Carolina. I said, I'm going to take a year off and go make furniture at Roy Hill Furniture Factory. It's no longer there. But I went in, and I was making 79 cents an hour. I learned how to make furniture. I mean, I was there. Here I am. I was a hippie. I don't deny it. I decided to go have my hair down to my bottom. I go walking in that furniture factory, and those guys got into it. But they actually took me under their wing. They thought I was a unique alien or something. But it was a ride. I learned a lot from it. Went through a lot of different things with it. And by the time I left, stayed about a year and a half. I was making 99 cents an hour. Okay? I thought that was outstanding. Had a little place there. But anyway, at that time, Lauren reached back out to me. He goes, look, you're not getting any younger, and I think we've got some stuff here that might interest you. So I traveled over to Maryville College, and I kind of liked it. Of course, they didn't have full scholarships. You'd have to work your way through. And I won't go on long about this, but I remember Lauren said, okay, on my budget, I've got you. There's an old hotel down there now where they're building up all around the old rail depot there, kind of across from all the restaurants and where
Off Washington Street there?
yeah, Washington Street. And there was a hotel there and a diner, okay? So I had the hotel for a couple of them. It's all long gone. But the diner, I mean, here I am in Maryville. Everyone said, Tom, it's very conservative. You know, it's very uptight. Be careful. So I go in 7 a.m. to get breakfast. He gave me a breakfast pass. Lady came up. She said, do you want a Budweiser or a coffee with your breakfast? I went, pardon me? Okay. And I found out later, Blount County had pockets of that everywhere. You go to old Gift Sporting Goods. I said, I'd like 2 golf balls. Would you like a bottle of Jack Daniels to go with that? Okay, so I was learning quickly. Okay. Anyway, I went and I played for about a year. I remember Joe and some others, and it was a great experience. They turned out some good ball players back in that day. And but I found out I ended up getting married to an old high school sweetheart, which didn't work out. But the one man I met that was really good to me was the guidance counselor up there that handled all the funding and the monies. And he told me, he said, one thing you're going to learn, I don't want you to get saddled with debt when you get out of college. So I decided, well, football wasn't going to work. He got me a job at Kroger's. And it took me 10 years working one quarter, off a quarter. I got a few small grants. I graduated from Maryville College with that. And I didn't owe, I think I owed my student loan debt was $3,100. After that, I did get involved. I went to law school in Nashville at night to get some more training. But still, I was on that path. My generation, we partied, we carried on, but we were functional. And it was considered normal at the time. That's supposed to be the lifestyle. There wasn't AA or NA being around. I have a lot of episodes in between. But I came out of that, and I know I was working at Kroger's one day, going to night school at law, when a woman came in, popped her out, I was cleaning the bathrooms, and she said, you're a hard worker here. And I heard you're trying to go to law school, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah. She goes, well, I see your work. She gave me a card. It was her husband's name, president of a Fidelity National Title Company, one of the largest title insurance in the country. She said, I want you to call him tomorrow. I was able to leave. I called him. He interviewed me, brought me in as an intern. That went from there. And I worked for them for about 7 years on the national level, got a lot of training. I was involved in real estate. And I could do stuff, the title insurance side. I was involved in transactions involving small cemetery plots to huge commercial deals. My last commercial deal before I left them was a $900 million shopping mall in St. Louis. And I was part of that. And that's when the first time ever we were able to do some closings by remote, because part of the parties in Cincinnati, part of the others. This was my heyday. I don't deny it. It was a dream job, flying around in Learjets. The company had Learjets, and where the oxygen things were you pulled down, they also had the little tubes you pulled down, filled with whiskey, scotch, rye, anything you wanted. They partied like crazy. I got to do a convention one time for them in Lake Tahoe, and I got to sign B.B. King and Wayne Newton to contracts. I actually sat at a table and met with them and got all that done. And so money was flowing. It seemed like an ideal job, but everything was starting to build up in me, and I feel the wearing down. I look back now and I realize I still have that unmet trauma I had not really dealt with my past. I kept going and, seemed successful. Had a huge home, boats, cars, a Caribbean beach house. I had all the stuff people wanted. So after I got Fidelity kind of run its way down, and they were changing some positions. And that's when I came out. And for 20-some years, I had my own title company. I had one in Maryville, Morristown, and Knoxville. I ran them and did pretty well for a while. Then after that, I was getting a little bit weary at it, and I stopped that. And then I ended up being a consultant, like the Concord title and the Foothills title. All those people, they brought me in. But what happened was the life had really crumbled. I don't deny it. The drinking had continued. The partying continued. I was weary. My heart was feeling empty. I had another wife at this time. And I said, don't you think it's about time that we got our lives together? and maybe stop the partying and the drinking and maybe move on? And she looked at me. She
So
goes,
how old were you? How old were you at this time?
probably about 40 something, close to 40. And she said, do whatever you want to do. She left. She went. I never heard from her to this day. Never, ever, ever. But my life started healing then. I realized that change had to come, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I've been raised in church. I was a minister at one time. I knew all the good stuff to do, but all the other stuff piled in so much, I had not taken care of that. So I was meeting with my other partners one day in my Maryville office, had the teakwood desk and all the fancy stuff, and it hit me. I'm tired of this, because they were talking about expanding. They said, we got Morristown, we got Knoxville, and I said, no, I don't think so. And I don't claim to be a holy roller. I'm not trying to be a preacher. At Harbour Skate, we feel, you can be faith-driven and faith-inspired, but we're not going to be faith-aggressive. We want to treat your trauma and your problem. Then we'll get you back into all that. But I remember from my training that I sat there looking at him, and it hit me then. Jesus on the cross, when he said, it is finished. That hit me. I shoved back from that desk, and I looked at him, and I said, it is finished. They said, what does that mean? I said, I'm out. I'm cashing out. And I don't know yet what that means. All I know is this life is dead. It has to stop. I've got to go into a new way. So after that, I did. And how I got there was, prior to that, about 6 months prior, I determined then, after she had left and everything, I'm going to stop this drinking and partying. So one day I was up in my office, and I'd gone cold turkey for a couple of days. I collapsed. They called the ambulance. They said they had to do the defibrillator 3 times on the way to keep me alive. I got to the hospital. They threw me on a gurney, just out of it, and just left me there. And my mom was alive at the time, but she died right after. They came with my sister. Doctor said, look, he's a mess. So she bought a cemetery plot and clothes and left. Anyway, 6 weeks later, I came out of it. And my doctor had come to me during that time. And he looked at me, he said, Tom, I know you've struggled, so many issues. But he said, if you're going to continue this lifestyle, I can no longer be your doctor. So if you're going to go ahead and do it, go ahead and die, do whatever you're going to do. I can't do anymore. And at that time, I did remember again my background. And I just mumbled a little prayer. And I said, Jesus, heaven or hell, take me now. I just don't want to live like this. The nurses said they saw my lips mumble. The fever, all the stuff broke. I was calm again. I got up. That's been 22 years ago. And I walked away, haven't drank, drug, had it ever since. Went back. I went through some minor rehab and things like that. But still, I got to that point, I got rid of the business. So with a little bit of cash in hand, I started getting involved. I worked with every known mission back in that day, whether it was Carm, Bert Rosen, I worked with him, Sisters of Mercy. I actually trained personally with Rick Warren's Saddleback Ministries, and I worked with him, and I helped with the programs at Cokesbury and a few other Celebrate Recoveries. I went through all the secular programs, new programs. I worked with all sorts of groups. I was just on a mission. I didn't know why yet I was doing it, but I always remembered there was a hole in my heart that the wealth and the material and all that popularity, it didn't mean anything to me. I was empty. So I started just, prowling around. I mean, I did all sorts of it. I actually got certified with Robert Lupton, the Lupton Institute, Focused Community Strategies of Atlanta. He's a partner with me to this day. He wrote the book Toxic Charity 50 years ago, which is actually the cornerstone. It would be the Bible of community redevelopment, which is part of our mission here, where sometimes we're helping people so much, we're not letting them learn how to take care of themselves. So he based it upon that. He's well known around the world. I was going down there with training sessions with people from China, Russia, around the world, wanting to get back to basics, where sometimes you can run out with angel trees, which is good, but there's a sense of pride. We do pride for parents, where the parents come in and get their own stuff and take it and give it from them. And I get more families coming in from that going, you made us feel proud again. You made us feel like we can be responsible. But anyway, on my journey, one day, how it happened in Blount County, because it happened in 2 areas, Knox and Blount. But in Blount, I was driving around one day in my Lexus, wearing my 3-piece suit still. I hadn't really shucked all of it yet. And I got a call from a girl I used to know out in the streets. She was living out here in Blount County at a trailer park still up here. It was a mobile home park. Not all mobile home parks are bad. This one was. And she called up. She goes, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I went, "Yeah, I sure do." She goes, "Well, I heard you got your act together and you're doing better." And I said, "Well, I'm a work in progress. What's up?" "I'm living up in this mobile home park with 7 of my other girls. We're hungry, we're tired, and want to know if you can bring us some food." I said, "Yeah, I can do that." So I got a little bit of food, drove up in that park. And I mean, I'd been to Haiti. I'd done some others. This rivaled that. This was just as horrible. Drove up that driveway, raw sewage flowing down the driveway in the yards, condoms and needles in that driveway. I meandered up through that. I got to the end trailer where they're at. This trailer didn't have steps. The windows are broken out. It was leaning to one side. I went to the door, and she came. Now, she was still an active addict at that time. Now, active addicts, they can look like horrible. They look like something out of a monster movie until they want to go out and get some more. And she could go that route. She could look really rough. And then all of a sudden, she looked like Kim Basinger out of 9.5 Weeks. She was ready to go. She was stressed, ready to go. She goes, "Hey, good to see you." Fine. She helped me get up, brought the food. And she said, "Well, it looks like you're getting it together." Anyway, in that story, I asked her, I said, "Would you like to turn it around now too?" She goes, "There's nothing wrong with me. God's got me where he wants me." But in the back were those 7 girls. Dark, raw sewage coming out of the sink. And this is still going on out here. So I got up there and I looked and I said, "Well, if you ever need anything," but 2 of the girls in that park trailer walked up, emaciated and wasted. One of them raised her hand. And she goes, "Well, if she don't want it, I'd like to try." I had no idea what this meant. I hadn't even thought about a Harbour skate. I didn't know. And I said, "Okay." So let's fast forward. Started bringing food. I got a female friend of mine, go with me, got him going. I got fast forward again on that one. Within 2 years, all those girls had finally gotten their act together. They came to me. I helped them with drug recovery. We worked on programs. We got them the health issues. We've got education. All of them are doing well. All these years later, they got families and business. The one in particular, she was on the run from the law from Montgomery Village. She was a gang princess, and a gang princess helps the gang leader keep things in order. But she had stabbed someone in Montgomery Village and was hiding out, had warrants out for her. She came up to me. She goes, "Look, I haven't seen my babies in 2 years. I'm hiding out. I really want to turn it around." She was a heroin addict. And she goes, "I don't want to go to prison. I want to have a chance." So due to those connections I had back in my real estate law days, I went and talked to the judge in Knoxville. He's really cool. He said, "Look at it this way." He goes, "Coming from that environment, that could either be an assault or a self-defense. See what she wants to do. I'll hold off on the warrant." So I went and talked to her, and she did really well. She was ready. If you're willing, you can do it. If you finally reached your ropes end, she was pretty well free of heroin within 3 or 4 months, and was still in a program, but she was clear. She was free. She went to. I got her a GED at the time. It's high set now. We have a high set program. She got her basic. She went to Pellissippi 2 years, finished up at UT. Then she got accepted to UT Law School. What a shocker. She ended up graduating from UT Law School, okay, and the day she graduated, some of my old attorney friends got together and bought her implants because she lost all her teeth doing drugs all these years. She is to this day in Atlanta, Georgia, working out of the DA's office, and in her time, she goes out and walks streets down there trying to bring hope, faith, and encouragement, sharing to others her story. She'll never let me do a video on her. She said, "Never give anybody my name. It's my deal. It's my ministry." Because how she viewed it was, she's not a hero. She said, I'm not to be celebrated. I'm finally doing what God intended for me to do all along. And that's what I'm going to do. So she came up, I haven't seen her very often. She came up about 6 years ago. And we were walking the streets of Montgomery again, just for old time's sake. And this guy comes walking up the street, just looking. He saw her, and he turned around and started walking away real quick the other way. He's probably in his 40s. She called him out by name. He turned around and he goes, "No, no, no. You're the one that held the gun to my head all those years ago." She goes, "That was then. This is now." They talked. I stayed away, talked. She gave him my card. The next day he called me. He said, "I want to be like her. Can you help me too?" So he got involved with us, had a little program. He now runs an automobile repair shop over on Chapman Highway, and he hires men that have just been out of prison, got issues, so forth, and tries to bring them along. But anyway, with all that said, Knoxville came up the same way. The Knoxville city government knew I was getting a lot of people coming and going, so they gave us places we could work in Montgomery Village, Western Heights, and Lonsdale, and actually for 6 or 7 years, we were very active in those areas. Dr. Jackie Hone here in Maryville, you know her. She partnered here with me. She now runs Ascend Medical. I had some good people, and we were doing life recovery, education. We actually started out with, it's all on, you can probably look it up in YouTube. Our first step up there was to try to see if the community really wanted it. Everywhere I go, I'm going to listen to you. I'm not here to assume anything. Assumptions are horrible. I don't know if it's drugs. Don't know if it's alcohol. Do you even want anything? I don't know. But what we want to do is embed. We want to be proximate, available, and place-based. Become a neighbor first. Then you get to know, which I've done everywhere I go. I've had the same problem with, rats coming out of my toilet and everywhere I've lived. I've seen that. But up there, we start out with what we call community basketball games, which, again, I hate to use the word gangs, but it was community leaders. And we put signs up going, we're going to have a community basketball game out here on the basketball court of Western Heights. Randy Lambert was involved in this. Okay, he used to go, wow, this is unique. So the day we did it, they all showed up. Probably about 15 different community leadership groups. They brought their cheerleader girlfriends who were dressed as what they were, and we played basketball. Mayor was out there, police chief, and they actually all got along. For 2 hours we played basketball, and they all got along. The police chief at the time told me, he goes, there's about half of them out here got warrants on them, but I'm going to let this be. This is the first time we've seen community getting along. Out of that, we did it a couple times. Randy got a couple of kids involved that had records on them. The judge expunged the records, and he got them basketball scholarships over the years. So it was just really working on hands-on. I didn't take a lot of notes. We didn't set up files. First thing we did was make relationship. That all would come later. Eventually, we were doing them indoors up there and all. In fact, we've been asked to do it again recently. But out of that also came talent shows. And the talent shows were powerful. We did 4 of those for 4 years in a row, and we had 8 people get minor recording contracts. So, we were just going to the streets. It sounds so simple. We didn't build a big building and tell them to come. I don't have millions of dollars to build a cathedral. We've always gone to where we were welcome and made do with what we got. But all that evolved, and to this day, that carried on. But then we were ready to evolve. And again, it started out primarily drugs and alcohol. I don't deny that. But the more time we spent living there, being in the community, we saw the other underlying issues. It's those underlying issues that would lead to drugs and alcohol. Everybody knows that. Okay? Mm-hmm. Being a drunk, being an addict, it's a cover-up. So we worked on the issues, and I'm not saying we've got, over the years, I've had hundreds and hundreds come through our doors. But my whole policy was, out of the 10 that come in, if 1 or 2 just get it, they're the ones that go back out. And someone's going, wait a minute, you were doing this and that. What caused that change? I went over there. So yes, by other nonprofit standards, we're small. I know when I worked with Bert Rosen, I actually went down and stayed 2 weeks at the shelter. And I did. I probably lied about it. I said, I'm a homeless guy. I stayed in there. I saw the systems. I slept in a room with 70 men. I handed out socks and underwear. I saw it all. But I wanted to learn. Somebody kept telling me you got to know what's going on first before you start going out trying to change it, judge it, or make an assumption. But one day I was down mopping the floors in that. Either one of you been inside the Knox Area Rescue Ministries big building, the chapel area? It's huge. And upstairs is all the bureaucracy. Well, I was in the hallway mopping one afternoon, and the lady at the front desk was there, and in came this poor woman carrying a duffel bag. You tell she's tired and weary, had gotten in. And she walked that lady, and she goes, can I get a bottle of water, just a snack? And that lady said, you are not even supposed to be in here till 5 o'clock. You're supposed to come in at 5 o'clock, hear the sermon, get the word, and then we'll feed you and house you and take care of you. Okay? Bert was coming down those steps at that time. Bert was something else. And he walked down, he heard that. He walked over to the lady at the desk, and he leaned in, he goes, I heard him, he said, you're fired. She goes, you can't fire me. He didn't even know who he was. Held his badge up. Yes, I can. I'm the owner. He sat there the rest of the afternoon, and he helped people. Okay? When I was leaving, he came up, he goes, I don't know who you are yet. He said, I've been seen you down there hanging out and doing some stuff. But he goes, I see in your eyes something else is going to go on. You've got something that you're going to go to. you don't even know yet. But whatever you do, whether it's another mission like mine, another nonprofit, whatever you're going to do, don't let the bureaucracy get so big where you're having to hustle, hire, fire, raise money all the time that you can't be there daily to touch the hands of the people you're called to serve. That has stayed with me for the rest of all of time. And that's the battle for a nonprofit. And so I try to keep it that way. I could have grown this to be huge, I guess. Maybe I could have done something else. But we are available. I still am 24/7. I'm on call. I don't mind that. I've done everything else on earth. I want to be available when that call comes. Some days there's a dozen calls. Some days there's no calls. I live on site out here, so people can come up and knock on my door. There's always a risk in that. But I always want to look for that one that maybe they've went through everything else, got too many apps to go through, too much stuff. So we can help them find a resource or help find a way to resolve that life hurts. If we can help prevent the reoccurrence of the life hurts, that should be the goal.
No, that's a lot.
Yep, it is. That's just the bio.
I'll say back in, you said 2012, you became a 501c3, Harbor's Gate.
Yes.
So tell us specifically, I mean, you mentioned a lot of what you do. Specifically, what is Harbor's Gate? Where are you located? What do you do? Do you have a mission statement?
The mission statement's pretty simple. Right now, it's we're the Neighborhood Life Enrichment organization, and it's on our website, everything. But the words we use, triage, prevention, and community development. Now, triage, we're kind of adjusting that word. We're a first responder. So you call me at 9 o'clock in the morning, you call me at midnight, and something's going on that I can help resolve. That's what triage means. We want to try to stop the bleeding first, okay? If it's something we can do, whether I can do it or find a resource, which I can, you can, then we want to just prevent that. We want to stop that part first. Prevention is the next step. If you keep coming back for that same issue, that's when we, as a nonprofit, have to have the boundaries in place. We've got to work on a plan to try to overcome that, to keep that from happening again. Now, I'm not talking about mental health, severe mental health. We got resources for that. We're not talking about severe disability. Okay, we're not talking about things that out of anyone's control, but we're talking about people that may have those issues, whether it's drugs or alcohol or not. We're certified now by the state of Tennessee as a human trafficking training center and safe zone. I've got another space up here. We don't house that many, but we've been trained in that. And Pete Carter knows about that now because he came out to one of my training sessions. It's available. Anyone can do that. Again, that prevention part, and that's the hardest part. You call up and say, I can't keep paying my electric bills, or I can't keep doing that. We want to do a detailed analysis of that. Now, many times I look into it, and I do find other resources. I do look into it, because I got to be prudent with any money that comes in, okay? I do look at certain things after a while, like a bank statement, look at your overall expenses, look at your connections. Where's your family? Where's that? I've had drug court in Blount County, and I work with them all. I work with ETHRA. I'm a counselor with so many of them. But they'll get them out on the drug court program, and they're responsible to pay their rent as they go through that program, okay? They'll get them a job at some point. But when they come out, they've got to come up with $500, something like that, to even get in. Now, we had a small grant at one time that would say, someone called today, I need this to come out to get into drug court. And we might have approval to go ahead and let that money go. But what we're finding out now on my end, I've been looking at it, I'll ask them back. I'm going, well, what's your family? No, they won't help. They won't do anything. I have nobody. 100% of the time, if I get hold of that family, the parents or someone, I'll call them. They're going, wait a minute. My daughter, my son, they're actually going into a program, and it's rigid and they'll get help. Yes, we'll gladly pay that. So that's what we look at. We want more skin in the game than everyone thinking we got to pay for all that stuff for them. So we try to wash the cost on that. So that's one thing we do on prevention. And we're not there just for a pop. I'm not there for just to sit there and go, okay, you look like you're well, bye. I've been out there. I've helped deliver babies, for crying out loud, for some of these single moms. I've been around. So I've grown up with a lot of them. just out here alone in the Blount County section of us, I've got kids that are 17 and 18 that I've held in my arm and changed diapers. So we're there for the journey of life, because it will always be up and down. There's going to be good days and bad days. So people know that we're there for that, and we try to work through it. Now, the community part is one thing that's probably one of the harder things to do. We try to get people to be more active, and the volunteer is a well-used word, and sometimes it doesn't resonate with people. I tend to call it community care partners. Someone that will say, I really believe in this. I believe neighbors, helping neighbors is essential. And so what I want to do is commit 2 hours a month to certain specific things. Now that's important for youth in particular, because kids want to see consistency. And we have a small, in fact, I'll get here at the end, Wes Lambert's on my board now, and we're getting ready to roll out our another new youth program here over summer. But still, that community part is knowing that we all need to be responsible for each other. In fact, out here, when I first got into the site here, now we came out of the trailer parks, and we found this 7-acre site out here off Air Base Road, 2428 Air Base Road. It was called the Mentor Community Park. It was at one time the hub of Blount County. Christmas parade started out here, Rotary clubs, all the old Garner gambles. It was big, because Mentor out here used to be a railroad town. Had a library, a market, a school. Right across from here, I hope you come out for a tour someday. The tracks run right here. And there's still railroad huts over here where they used to camp out overnight. There was a railroad platform for passengers. It was a thriving little community. So for years, they had out here at this site, CSX gave the property, and they ran it as a community center, okay, for many, many years. And they had a neat program where neighbor helped neighbor out here, okay? They didn't have treatment centers. There was no psychiatric wards. They met regularly. Everyone did, 7 days a week. In fact, right here, if you can see it, this little chart, that was like a 2-block area back in 1966. And they got together. Everyone was assigned a neighbor. You had a neighbor that was responsible for you. So if you had an issue at night, car broke down, something, you called the neighbor first. The books, and I've got over 30 books, Tennessee Historical Commission loves this, that tells the entire history of Blount County. I mean, y'all come out and see these things. Brian Daniels at the Chamber loves it. He's found so much. They kept records that who you're responsible for, what you're supposed to do. Some of them are humorous, some of them are serious. Like on this chart I showed you, there's a story in here where one of the families called his support team, and he goes, hey, I've not eaten all day and I'm hungry. Can you bring me dinner? And they said, well, yeah, we got some extra food, but what's wrong? Is your wife not home today? He goes, no, my wife's angry at me. She won't cook for me anymore. So they took him food. And there's all sorts of real stories of stuff that went on. Some are heartbreaking, but they stood by one another. I mean, they kept every newspaper clipping all the way back to 1950 something. So what we want to do with that, and they're missions like ours. Let's be there for each other. Let's be there and be a support group instead of, doing everything else. So as far as that community goes, we've had some success out here with that. But what we do, simplify it down. We're there to look at a life hurts. Let's put it that way. Okay? We can be clinical, but the main thing is to make a connection first. I had a lady came out 2 years ago, lived up in Green Acres, and at one time had 3 beautiful daughters going to Alco High School. And had an ex-husband showed up. He drug her out into the parking lot, poured gasoline on her, and set her on fire. It's all true. We verified everything. But one day she had called. I had not met her on a Saturday morning. And she goes, hey, is this Harbour's Gate? Yeah. Well, she goes, you're the only one open on weekends, I heard. So I'm hungry and I'm looking for food. And I said, well, we've got food here. We have a Second Harvest food pantry on site. I said, well, I've got food. She didn't apparently hear that. She's going, well, I'm on my way to the Lutheran Church in Oak Ridge. It's on the list. And I said, well, wait, I know the mall. The Lutheran Church is closed. It's only open 2 days a month. And she goes, well, I don't know what to do about food. She's distraught. I said, I've got food here. She goes, oh, wait, you got food? You're on the list? I said, yes, I got food. And She said, well, I'll just turn around and come on back. Can you put me on the phone with the director of the food program? I went, this is he. She had no idea. She came in. When she walked in, I had a couple boxes of food ready. And she looked so worn out in her eyes. You could tell she was haggard. And I said, I've got your food here. She goes, yeah, the food, I do need the food. But more than anything else, I need someone to take time, listen, and hear me. I paused. I said, okay. She sat down with me for 2 hours. She spilled it out. And before it was over, we analyzed. She trusted me a little bit more. I worked out some details with her and her daughter, some programs. When she got up, she looked at me. She goes, this means more than you know. She goes, everywhere I go, I know I can get food. I'll go through a food line. They give me food. They give me clothes. And they always, pat me on the shoulder. And they'll go, God bless you. We'll pray for you. And she goes, I need that. And I love that. But my heart is screaming, can I talk to you? Can you listen to me? That is where I'm kind of a lone wolf on that. I don't deny it. I try to allow enough time for each one. I can bring in hundreds. I've done that. I've got larger groups, but I want to make that eye contact. I want them to know that they're the important one. They'll go out and help do the rest of the work. They'll go out, and she did. She ended up getting finishing up 1 year of a degree at Pellissippi. Now her and the family moved away, and she's a school teacher up in Ohio with her kids. They're making it. So I tell you hundreds and hundreds of stories. The stories are the one. But for people going, what do? You just give out food? Yeah, I give out food. Can you get them diapers? I give them diapers. All that stuff. I can do all the whats. We got whats. It's the why that's going to matter in the end. I never want to get, like Bert said, just so clinical and so rote and routine that I'm just rushing out at holidays to help people. We got to do it 365 days a year. And so we do work on it. We've had an annual Thanksgiving dinner out here every Sunday before Thanksgiving for 16 years. We do all sorts of, we want them to have fun. We want them to enjoy life. But at the same time, we do want to stop that bleeding first. And I do have over 45 free treatment centers around the country. I worked hard on that. I can get you gone in 8 months with no insurance for treatment for mental health and drugs. Cornerstone knows about it. Others know about it. A lot of people don't want to go, though. Now, Blount County Jails work with me. In fact, we got one coming out later today. I'm taking one to a treatment center down in Georgia I just got back from Savannah, Georgia with another one I took. So again, we want to be mobile enough, be flexible enough, do a good analysis, and try to treat that. And I do refer to everyone else. If it's something that Family Promise can do, if it's something that Good Neighbors can do, I'm going to refer it. Now, I'm not going to take saying I can do everything, but they come sometimes and just trust me enough to share. Now, on the life recovery side, you're talking about substance abuse, all that. It's very important to have someone on the front end, to me, that has experienced that, okay? Someone that's in recovery, someone that's overcome it. People normally relate more to someone who understands them than to someone just preaching at them, reading it from a book. You need all that down the road. That will come. But we're like a smorgasbord. If you come to me, I can cut a lot of corners. I got back numbers to Social Security, VA, those type issues. We can help you instead of having to get on an app, instead of having to go and punch buttons everywhere, fill out all that. We can take care of that assessment first and determine maybe where is a proper way for you to go. So right now, I know that a lot of people, this has all the potential if they hold on. This could be a hub for all of that. This would be a good collective space to go. The property's beautiful. Maryville, Little League and T-ball are using our fields out here. We've got a lot of work to do. It's like homesteading. We've got new walking trails and meditation sites out here. It's kind of like a green oasis in the middle of all the noise. But as you well know, being in real estate, Louisville's booming, Topside's booming. We're getting a lot more calls from all that. We're just one street away from all of that. So it'd be a good position for anyone to take a look at. But again, as far as just doing the one thing, yeah, I can give you diapers. Go on your way. But why are you always needing diapers? Can we look at that? If you're all the time food pantries actually slowed down some. Food, I don't think right now is necessarily the main issue we're facing. It is, of course, housing, childcare, economics, because wages aren't keeping up with the rising costs. In fact, that trailer park up the road that we first started at, our birthing center, got bought out by one of those corporate parties January 1st. None of the neighbors up there had any warning. What happened was it was sold on the end of December. January 1st, they all had notices on 37 trailers telling them, we're the new owner, rents are going to be doubled, and you have 30 days to either do it or get out. That's still going on. Don Dare came out and did a piece on it the other day. And that's one thing I know the state legislature is looking at. I'm not ruling out the fact that the good ones can make some changes, like we did in involved. It was in the Daily Times, Atkins Way on Rice Ferry Road over here. We were involved with Saratoga Group. They bought that out, restored it. It's affordable housing. That was a good model. And we got community groups in there now determining what their needs are. But some of these are making it hard on people. Where are 37 people going to go in Blount County? They're on fixed income. Some are working 2 or 3 jobs at $15, $10. We got markets up there paying $11. So anyway, all those issues come through here, and it's hard work. How do you keep hope going? How do you get them focused? It will take a longer term plan, but how do you do that? So we can't do it all, but we try.
I have a question for you. I've got about 1,000 questions for you, but we only have about another few minutes, and so what stuck out to me was something you said earlier, was how that you go out into the community and that's kind of a theme in what you've been saying, that you meet people where they are, you go out into the community. But how do most people find out about you, and then how do they get in contact with you to do the variety of things that you can help them with?
Well, primarily, it sounds old fashioned. Word of mouth is probably 75% of it, because those are active little communities on their own, whether it's substance abuse, poverty. They shy away from big agencies. So like I said, it's so simple, people don't get it. They want to complicate it. Now, I can do all the social media advertising. We do all that. I get TV coverage. Lori Tucker loves it out here. The mayor of Knoxville comes out still and reads books to my kids. I mean, we get a lot of notoriety outside. It's just simply, everyone gets lists to go. You go talk to family, prom, anyone else. They'll give you a list. Here's this and that. For me, the thing is, it is going to be that word of mouth, where we get people that actively are willing enough. They've heard about it from a friend and come in. I can do billboards. I can do TV shows, all that. But still, it's as simple as it sounds. The referrals come. I do get referrals from agencies. I do get referrals from Blount County Justice Center. I get referrals now from Knox County Justice System. I get all sorts of things like that for counseling on drugs and alcohol. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to be the be-all and catch-all, because we are small. We don't have a staff. We don't have big. But I've got free mental health counselors that come out on site and meet with people. I got people that will cooperate with me, because they're saying that's a good frontline place to go. Why not meet them where the unmet need's at? Let's meet them there. Let's meet them. Then we can get them into the other programs and go from there. Kind of like a feeder line on all that. And it's even recently, I'm not going to take up, this one was a miracle to me. Last fall, I got a call from Kennesaw State University out of Atlanta. And what happened was, we had a woman 10 years ago out of one of my areas here that was a drug addict, had heard about it from a neighbor, came down, got her through it, everything. She ended up going in Pellissippi, did real well. Then she moved back to Georgia to be with family. Well, she waited a few years. Then she went back into Kennesaw State to finish up and got a doctoral degree. Well, she went and told the doctoral program at Kennesaw State the story about us, how she found us, how we went through it. Kennesaw State called up, and they're going, it's unbelievable. But they said, would you mind if we come up, and this was November, do you mind if we come up before Thanksgiving and spend 2 weeks and study the Harbour Escape method of community unity? And I said, yeah, and when you do that, can you tell me what it's about? I don't even know. She laughed. They spent 2 weeks with us. Now, what came out of that, they stayed up here, they did everything. Everyone loved this was the most caring group of young people I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I get some from UT and Carson and all that stuff, but they're coming in just for a quick thing, get their hours. Kennesaw State's teaching them full-blown, long-term community. So now we made an arrangement where I will be going down starting in spring. I'm going to be a guest professor, what you want to call it, just sharing more. They're coming back up this spring, and they want to partner and help us develop programs, keep on going, growing, bring in some new innovation and some ideas they've got. So this whole thing is not just county lines. It's crossing over to others. But to think, I remembered her name when they mentioned her. I said, I do remember her. And she remembered us. Now, again, that's not going to lead to hundreds. And again, stats are whatever you want them to be. I can give you numbers. I can tell you today, I got 40 people off drugs in 1 month. Well, that's not going to happen. But, people, oh, wow, there's those stats. You're never going to know if someone's really clean or straight on that issue. It's a lifetime. If they're not going back to jail, that's one good sign. You got all that stuff. What you do, you got to stay with them all the way. You're not there for a quick fix. They're going to have bad days. And I hope as a community we can tie together and get more of that. So again, it'll go in flows. Some people aren't looking for what I've got. Some people may not know. I'm not going to lie. We don't fit the mainstream of what you may think it should be about. But I got people in the Boys and Girls Clubs that didn't like Boys and Girls Clubs. But I got people coming out of Boys and Girls Clubs that didn't like Boys and Girls Clubs. You got to find your fit. I'm not the whole thing. And if I don't think I'm the fit, I'm not going to say go away. I'm going to go, well, let me help you find what will work for you. Let's look at that. Maybe there is a better way for you because I don't know it all. So
I've got two questions.
Go ahead.
Two questions. Did you say you do not have a staff? Are you it?
I'm it. But I got some outstanding. Well, when you got Kennesaw State still driving up here every 3 weeks, they're bringing in the volunteers. That's how you got to work it. I'm getting calls right now from other nonprofits that are laying off. Okay, some grants have dried up, donations have gone down. That's one cycle I vowed I didn't want to get into. And I've had some staff at times. But right now, if I've got, like right now, someone came in the door, it's a mental health issue. I've got two very good partners. I won't mention the names of the organizations because they're state that would make an arrangement, come down, do the mental health counseling here and not charge. Okay. They believe in it. They're going, I want to come out and help get it going. Then we'll start looking at it down the road. I could use some more solid, but again, to keep a staff, you're going to have money. Most grants don't even provide for that within the grant if you got it. But at the same time, you got to come out and understand the slight difference. This is connectivity. You're not going to sit there just inputting a data file. You're not going to just sit there. You got to sit back and have some heart and some compassion and discernment to listen through the whole story. That's why, if we decide, if I had the funding, I can make it bigger. I got people that would help me do that. But right now, the monies aren't there for that. Because we operate off such a low budget. We operate primarily off of, donations while we get going. I've had good grants. Got a good Arconic grant last year, which helped. I've got some others we're working on. But still, the situation is, as ridiculous as it sounds, when you call, the phone is me. That's going to be me right now. And I've managed it. Now, if you want to talk about quantities, some people look at that. You got to keep growing. It's like a church. More members, more this, more that. I'm still interested in the ones that are really wanting some change. Because out of 30 I might see in a month, honestly, only about 7 or 8 are willing to really do the effort that really want change. They come to me, just sign the piece of paper, get the law off my back, get mom off my back, do all this stuff. I deal with all that.
So if people or organizations actually do want to get in touch with you, I know you have a website and you have a phone number. I mean, would you care to share how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. The biggest thing anyone can do is, like I said, we got a basic Harbour's Gate 101 presentation, a little short video to it that kind of shares. You got to get back to the heart of it is, why are we doing it? Are we just coming out and handing out food once, and I'm not knocking it, and that makes us all feel good? The daily struggle is a thing. I do need more people that could be involved. I got a group at a local hospital that are trying to put together an auxiliary support team now. I don't know if they're going to or not, but people are starting to see that where you can come out here and actually see it hands-on. Now, I am by appointment only. I'm not trying to be a walk-in clinic. But if you call me, you call me this morning, and you're going, look, I'm hungry, I'm out of food, can I get some? And if I'm here, I'll go, how soon can you come? I'll have you ready. They're pre-boxed boxes, will have you ready to go. And again, that's why people have I know they have a hard time because they're going, what's this, what's that? But until you come out and experience it, you can sit there and assume what needs to be done. But until you have some actual experience dealing with these real life hurts, getting people to trust you. You may not see it in the compartment you want to. Often you've got to work outside the box to get people come back into a community. And that's my goal, where they know they can walk the streets of Maryville just like anyone else. They can walk in and feel good about themselves and not feel like, they're outsiders completely. So there are those pockets out there. And I just hope that if we can just, like I said, one might be enough. We've got many. We had the girl that had satanic symbols on her face. Could never get them off. We got her a job at Shoney's in the back room. She's an accountant now. And she goes locally and shares her story about the dangers of cults. And she uses those markings as part of her story. I could legacy, some people want to write books about it. I'm telling them, I don't have time to write a book. There's new ones coming every day. So, but if we just hold on a little bit as a community, and any help anyone wants to give on that, I need help. I don't know it all. I need people with other experience that can come in. I still need help. That's what Wes and I were talking about. We need people to be more involved in, our youth program that we've been revamping a little bit. And that's going to be revamped. It's not necessarily for at-risk kids. You hear that term a lot. We're getting kids coming to us going, we don't play on the sports team. We're not in the orchestra. Maybe we're nerds. I don't know. But we like to find something we can do and have our own identity. So Wes and I got this thing going to come out. It's going to be called Youth Opportunity Corps, which will involve youth and come in, have their own board, their own thing. We'll give them training, work on all that, and they can select the projects they want to work on, and they all apply towards college credits, getting the grants, and all that. So Wes has been real helpful with me on that. So
how do they get in touch with you?
I'd rather them just call me direct if they want, 865-679-8610, or just go to the website, Harborsgate, HARBOURSGATE.org. And all you got to do is take a look. And like I said, some people say I'm the Jeremiah Johnson of nonprofits. I wander around the hills and only come down when I need, fat back and a bullet. I'll take that. Dances with Wolves. Some guy told me one day, "You're like Kevin Costner with Dances with Wolves." Well, that sounds romantic. And he goes, "Well, yeah." I said, "You're like you brought me some stuff today. You're like the guy. I'm waiting for those mules to come in." He goes, "Yeah, that's right. But remember, the mules got killed." Also, I'm not going to ask a whole lot. We do have, in fact, I'll have a flyer ready to go out on the Youth Opportunity Corps soon. But you'll be the first to hear this. George Quarles, famous football coach. He and I worked together 12 years ago. He came out and partnered. He spoke at my first luncheon a long time ago at Crescent Bend. He brought athletes and stuff out here for counseling and stuff. He's back, and he is going to host our golf tournament this year. He wants to get back involved with us. I'm not going to announce that yet. You heard it, but I'm not announcing it yet. I'm going to wait because we got our top golf event Thursday.
Your
I got to finish
safe
that
with
out.
us.
Yeah, well, I'll do that. So you need to do a part 2 with me.
Okay.
You need to make a mini series out of me. I talk too much.
When is the golf tournament?
It'll be August 21st.
August 21st.
We've done it for 13 years. But also I've got another big, I'm not going to say it. We've got names, but even Randy Boyd's been out here a couple of times. He spoke at my luncheon. We've got good with Howland Hilton Hill. He still talks to me. He survived his kidney thing. And he said that. He goes, just keep doing what you're doing. The big show, he calls them the big show, the big nonprofits. He said, they won't get you. But he said, I do. And I went, okay, that's it. That's all I need to hear. Because we all do the same thing. I want to collaborate. Because sometimes I see nonprofits all doing the same thing. Why don't we all get together and make it better? So
Tom,
I'll probably never hear from you again now. You get off here going, why did we put him on here?
No, just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I invite you to give me a call sometime and come out and see it.
Yeah,
You ought to see some of these books. It's incredible. Some of the stories of how Blount County grew and rose, and some of the people that helped make it what it is today. It's pretty cool.
We will do that.
All right. And you'll send me the edited version, right?
I'm not sure how much edited, but yeah, it'll be edited.
Just cut it down to 3 cents.
Don't hang up right away because we gotta finish uploading and recording. So give us just like 1 minute.
Hold on.
But thank you, Tom, for your time. Well,
listen, there was no shortage of. I mean, he could have kept going for
Yeah.
hours. I mean, the number of stories I'm sure that he has uh, from his work over the years, unbelievable.
And I think that I think in order to be successful as a nonprofit worker, you have to have passion. And they all probably have passion, but I'm putting Tom's passion up against anybody for what he does.
Absolutely, he certainly does. And I mean, part of it is having lived that life, and
Yes.
having experienced all of those things. I think he can meet people where they are in a way that a lot of folks can't. I mean, even if you have a passion and a heart for whatever your nonprofit is,
Yep.
if you haven't experienced it, you're probably not going to have quite that same level of connectivity with the people that you serve and work with. I think a lot of times churches and maybe not just churches, but churches is what comes to mind first. Is they spend a lot of money and a lot of effort and a lot of things to make their church, let's say, a place where people will come to them. And we've got to have this for the youth group, and these comfortable seats for people that are going to sit there, or these activities or these things, so that when they come to us, they'll have all of these. Well, yeah, but why are they going to come to you?
Yeah.
If they're not going to come to you until you go to them, until you meet them where they are, until you get out there and talk their language. And I feel like that's what he does maybe best,
I'm sure.
as well as anybody that I've talked to.
Yeah. And he can empathize, and he will listen. I mean, the story that he told about the lady said, "Hey, it's not 5 o'clock. You can come in." Like,
Yeah.
that's not Tom.
Yeah.
Tom's
Yeah.
like, "Call me whenever. I'll do what I can."
He's probably never cut anybody off for
I
a
doubt
story.
it.
It's somebody who just wants to talk and
Good
share.
for him. It's he's a unique individual. There's not a lot of people have the heart and the stamina to do what he's doing for so long. So good on him.
Yeah. Appreciate him joining us. That was good.
Yes. Thanks, Tom.
So let's see. Real estate almost seems like an afterthought. When we get done with these, we have morphed over the 3 years that we've done this to the point where, it started out that there was a little more real estate involved. And at this point, we're like, who cares about real estate? We just learned about some really cool stuff.
We do still sell real estate.
We do. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah. After talking to this, it's like,
Yeah.
seems less important.
Yeah.
But the only one tidbit that I noticed is because I felt this and I just wanted to look, and I talked to some people that, a lot of people are out there like, hey, I want to sell my house. I didn't sell it last year because I thought I'd wait this year and get a little more out of it. Well, guess what? The median cost of a house sold in Blount County in January of 25, that's the last full month, was $385,915. The median cost of a house last month, which was a year later, was $385,000. It actually went down $950. Basically, it's as steady as it's been for a long time. I think it'll maybe start ticking back up again when the demand starts to increase. But yeah, I think that's interesting that it's been so steady for so long.
Yeah, it really has. People kind of, and I'm sure you get this as well. People ask you, "What's the market like? How's the market?" And I'm like, same song, second verse. I mean, it really has been very similar in the last year or so. Yep. Not any major changes. I know that there's a lot more properties available, so the inventory is better. That's good. But there's, in terms of how much is selling and what it's selling for.
Yeah.
I will say this too, that the days on market has increased a good bit, and I think that's healthy. I know a lot of people are, not big fans of it. If you're trying to sell your house quickly, that's, not so, but I think the average is now closer to 50 or 60 days.
Yes, actually, and this is just 1 month over 1 month and not year over year necessarily. But last month, January, the average was 57 days as opposed to 51 the year before that. So it's trickled up. It just trickled up a little, but that is significantly higher than back a couple years ago. I know, Eric, as you and I being in the business, we remember when it was 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. Well, under contract in 2 minutes. Yeah.
That's right. With 12 different people wanting to buy it. So
yeah,
those days have changed a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, yeah. And also as far as now, January is traditionally a slow month. We had 117 sales in Blount County last month and 122 in the January before that. So that's kind of stayed steady. It's just been steady.
Yeah, there's not much difference there at all.
And I'm guessing, we're going to step on some toes here because it's coming up right now. But Michelle McCauley does send us the rate watching thing, and it has, when I say drop, we're talking a tenth of a point, but it's a significant tenth when it goes from 5.05 to 6.05 to 5.95. All of a sudden, it's below 6% steadily. That's what I've noticed. Let's see what if Michelle's noticed the same thing.
Hello, this is Michelle McCauley with Movement Mortgage, and I am here with your mortgage market update. Mortgage rates finally approved this week, and the average 30-year fixed rate is hovering right around 6%. Some loan products are pricing out just below 6% for the first time since 2022. I've been pricing 15-year rates this week in the low to mid fives. This decline is helping affordability and is already increasing refinance and purchase activity. Now, the markets are remaining a little volatile, but rates are still moving day to day in the low 6% range. Bottom line, rates are near recent lows, creating a solid opportunity for buyers and also those that are looking to refinance. And I know we always talk about rates, but it's very important. So please give me a call at 865-806-6113 if you're looking to buy or refinance, or if you just have questions, I'm here to help.
We need to use more.
Michelle, thanks for that effort. You're getting an applause.
To use that more often, right there.
Our studio audience is really appreciative of those rates, Michelle. Thanks.
Hey, wasn't that funny? I got them all. We're going to be using these.
Hey, we got more than where that comes from. Where that came from, folks. So,
well, actually, what we really wanted to say there, though, was I guess that is a wrap on another episode.
That is right. Join us in 2 weeks for our next one.
Yep. Who will our next guest be?
What topics will we cover?
And what's changed in the real estate market?
Well,
let's find out.
Thanks for listening to the Let's Be Blunt podcast. If you have questions or guest ideas, or if you'd like to sponsor a segment of our podcast, please send us an email at the Let's Be Blunt podcast at gmail.com.
I'm Brad Hepner.
And I'm Eric Rice.
And we call ourselves the Property Dads. As local realtors, we want you to know and love this community as much as we do. If you have questions about real estate, don't hesitate to call us at LeConte Realty at 865-268-4180. We'll be happy to help.